Welcome to the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeart Radio. Coming up, Conrad has the car clinic. Well, actually, Jeff has the car clinic that Conrad wrote. How's that? We'll have this week's auto news and more award-winning car talk. Howdy, along with David Ainsley sitting in for Mike Mars. We have his son, Ryan Ainsley, who's sitting in for Conrad DeLong. Looks like you've lost a little weight. And then we need more Jeff Zekin. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. And joining us right now from the Department of Public Safety, State Trooper and Sergeant Steve Woodard. Now, we're not going to see Steve because he doesn't want to be, he's running undercover, I'm sure.
Like us.
Stephen Woodard, how in the heck are you, my friend?
Oh, pretty good, my man. Everything's good. It's just good to hear y'all's voice. You know, we were out on that scene you were flying over the other day, and as you know, in concert, just a little secret, the law enforcement, when we're on the scene of an incident, we also monitor the news feeds that are going on. And when I heard my buddy's voice in the sky, I said everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah, exactly. I assume. Yes.
Let me ask you this. So, I mean, I'm sorry I'm not able to show my face. You know, we have a lot going on with the NRA stuff, and I'm just not. I'm not Zoom ready. The uniform I have on is not appealing, and this hat I have on has a sweatband around it. So will you forgive me this time?
I will. You know that I will, and I don't care about none of that stuff. And yes, I know that you've got tons going on. And quite frankly, I wrote Mars and I said, I don't think he's going to be able to join us. He's got way too much going on with this NRA thing in town and all of that. But I certainly appreciate it. And yes, and, matter of fact, I saw you guys flying around there yesterday, and we were talking to your helicopter crew up there. Dude, it's a lot going on right now, and especially that horrible story coming out of South Texas. I mean, it's just a bad thing all around, and hopefully this gloom and doom is going to lift from us here not too much longer, because it's been tough.
You took the words out of my mouth, and you know, through the years, I've always appreciated you. You guys invited me, you know, on the air with you, and I just want to dedicate my little short piece to our friends over in Uvalde. You know, the incident in Santa Fe, that was my deal, 100%. And, you know, that is a horrible thing to experience, not only, you know, from a law enforcement standpoint, but just to see those families. And I'm telling you, we're down there doing the best that we can, you know, as the Texas Department of Public Safety, to make sure the scene is secure and to continue to try to investigate and find out the why. We know the what, but we're just trying to figure out the why. But we're going to just continue to keep those folks in our thoughts, because I'm going to tell you something, Don. That's the worst thing you want to hear on the radio as a law enforcement officer, because, man, you're really not prepared, because it's, to be honest, that type of stuff's not supposed to happen. And this is the world that we're living in today. But I can assure you, just like all the other ones, you know, we as a law enforcement community, we do what we can when we can, and we get there to try to preserve and save lives. So let's continue to keep you down in our prayers. But I would like to really classify Memorial Day as the unofficial kickoff of the summer. And I'm going to tell you something, my friend, it's going to be hot today. So
going to be hot like
man,
you.
I don't know about that, but it's going to be extremely hot. Now we're expecting a lot of travel. I know right now, if I was to look at my TxDOT mapping system, I-10 going eastbound, pretty thick right now. Not sure. I guess folks are going to maybe I don't know, Louisiana, maybe Florida, who knows? But folks are rolling. And they're rolling hard. So we just want to ensure that folks are driving safely. And wherever you're going, we want you to come back in the same piece that you left, if not better.
Well, and we all hope for that. And, you know, back to what you're talking about, especially about the Uvalde thing, I will tell you that, you know, despite what anybody says about the police and however that got messed up and however that came down, each one of us that have children, our hearts go out to all of those folks down there, and breaks my heart that this sort of thing, one, can even happen. Who would ever, ever, ever think of that? And especially in a small town like that. And to that end, let me just say that, here is a small town with less than 16,000 people in it. And yeah, they have a police department in their school system, and they also have the city and the state police. But dude, these guys they're not trained. To be able to handle something like that, you have to be trained, and you have to be retrained, and you have to go through drills. And people around the Houston area and law enforcement here, you guys go through that training on a regular basis. We're talking about a tiny little town with maybe a couple of stoplights in it. That's about it. And it's not in defense of them, but that's the fact. That is the way that it is down there, Steve. And, it's a horrible thing that's happened. But, because the police didn't go in and the governor's all pissed off and all of this stuff, it doesn't take away from the fact of what happened down there to those 21, 22 people that were killed in a horrible, senseless rage of some 18-year-old kid that somehow got hold of a rifle. I was listening to the radio yesterday and talk about this, Steve, and the fact that, 18-year-olds have been buying long guns since the beginning of time in the United States. So now all of a sudden the focus is on 18-year-olds buying long guns. Well, who would have ever dreamt in a million years that a kid 18 years old would do something like this with a long gun? There's so many variables here, and I know that we could go on with this discussion forever and ever, Steve, but, it's a terrible thing. There's no doubt about it. And I'm hoping now, finally, after this, that some laws will be changed. But, it is what it is, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, well said, Don. I tell you, sorry, I tell you, man, we can blame a lot of folks, we can talk about, we can talk about that teacher who propped the door over look, man, I blame the shooter.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, Don, I talk about my children quite often on this show, and I'm telling you, I can leave my pistol in the middle of the floor and none of them will touch it, because of the upbringing and the training. And my two sons, they only touch those rifles when it's time to touch them, and that's when we go in the woods in the wintertime to hunt. So, conversations are being had and, about some folks that are smarter than you and I, presumably. But what I can tell you is upbringing is extremely important, and that's the key. And we all know this, upbringing and where an individual comes from and the environment that they're raised in, that's a huge part of it. So, again, we're going to keep those folks in Uvalde in our prayers, man.
Amen, brother. And we love you guys and what you do for all of us. Matter of fact, I was talking to a Sugar Land police officer here last week. We had a little picnic in the area. And
oh, yeah.
I know that
was fun.
You probably heard about that Sugar Land police officer that was involved in a horrible crash out here on Highway 90, rear-ended by a drunk driver, and it was dark outside, and it looks like he's going to be okay. He's still in rehab these many months later. But, I asked one of the police officers that I ran into at the picnic, how is he doing? He's doing well. Thanks for asking and all that. And I'm just a regular guy. I'm nobody. I'm just like everybody else. And how much I appreciate what you guys do. I work with a couple of retired police officers, and how you guys step up to the plate and do what you do is truly amazing to me. Because, one, I could never do it. I never had that special blessing, if you will, to be a police officer, because it takes a special person to do that. It does. And we appreciate what you do. What are you faced with this weekend? I mean, when you said I-10, the first thing that came out to my mind was Brookshire, Texas.
Knew you were going
Oh,
there.
my God. Brookshire, Texas. Does TxDOT ever look at what's going on and go, we probably could have done a little bit better job in routing traffic out there?
Yeah, well, I live out in that area, and it seems like, folks can drive from Biloxi, Mississippi, just fine. And it seems like when they get into Brookshire, Texas, they say, you know what, screw it, let me have a wreck. So it's interesting over there. But I will tell you, in lieu of everything else going on, your troops will be out along with other law enforcement agencies. You talk about Sugar Land. I had to be a keynote speaker for one of their programs last week, and man, that's one of my favorite police departments in the state. Mm-hmm. They'll be out this weekend, and we just want to make sure that everybody's safe. It's not I got you. It's not a stump the chump. It's to make sure that incidents like that Sugar Land police officer doesn't happen. Done last year, when it comes to the DWI stuff, man, we arrested well over 445 people just for DWI charges. So, people are still, they're enjoying, but after the enjoyment, when it's time to go home, they're making the unresponsible choice to get in the vehicle and drive. And that's just not a good thing.
Yeah, Steve, let me ask you this. Let me jump in here real quick. So we guys come up to a holiday weekend like this. Do you actually physically have more people on staff out on the streets and the roadways that are getting paid overtime, if you will, to be able to make sure that we're all safe?
To protect and serve.
Yeah, so the actual schedule is rearranged so that individuals, so basically, for instance, instead of you having, instead of you being off that weekend, your day off will be off throughout that week. That way it can adjust to have more bodies on the road, especially in our rural areas. So absolutely. And that's not only us as a state police agency, but that's predominantly all of the state police agencies, especially along the southern portion of 10. Louisiana, I can put a Louisiana trooper or a Mississippi trooper on the line with us, and it's the same. We'll have the same conversation.
Yeah. So it really, yes, you're not working overtime. You're just working a different shift that's going to include the weekend where it normally wouldn't include the weekend. Right.
Sure, but look, man, this is just us on the line, right? I mean, can I tell you all the secret real quick?
Yeah, please.
So real quick. Yeah, it's just us. Look, man, it's really about voluntary compliance. We talked about that. You see the trooper on the side of the road, you're going to slow down.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's really about putting the black and whites on the road, and when you see that black and white on the side of the road, you tend to slow down.
Yep.
Let me tell you boys something, and I can email you the stats, Mr. Mars. Just because you see a trooper with his lights on and he's talking to someone doesn't mean he or she is giving them a ticket or warning. He could have just finished a motorist assist, changing a tire. Yep. I mean, we change more tires than you would believe. Every trooper in this state, it's not like the average. You look at a Houston police officer's car, and my wife's a Houston police sergeant. You look at a Sugar Land police officer's car, they don't have a full equipment set to change a tire. I mean, we got the full impact wrenches, gloves, and everything that we need to get you back on the road. We're like AAA on wheels, just with guns and cowboy hats. Yeah. So it's all about the visual. Good. It's all about the visual piece to just slow folks down, and that's what it's all about.
I need to jump in here.
Yeah, please.
Well, you talked about the holiday. We have Memorial Weekend, 3-day weekend. Folks are traveling. You said they're moving down the road. You also have schools that are done for the year right now. And in my area of Sugar Land that I live, I've noticed that a lot of these high schools, and not to say anything derogatory about driving in the teens, but they tend to get a little crazier at this time of year, in addition to having that Memorial Weekend. So be careful of that. Just be very careful, because I've noticed a lot of stupidity, craziness, whatever you want to call it, from some of these younger drivers getting out of school now that the year's over. So that's part of it.
Hey,
so
Steve.
I had that conversation. With my son, who's 17, because, my little 8 counties that I cover, man, our teen deaths have gone up. We just found another little girl that was missing out of Lake Jackson. She was missing for 2 days. We ended up pinging her phone and found her in Wharton in a ditch because she had a crash. 17, boys. So this is the conversations we're having with these teens, including mine, is number one, this is what we're seeing. Don't cut in front of large vehicles, large trucks, because they can't brake. And for some reason, I know that's odd, but I'm telling you, that's the conversation that we're starting to add in with these safety presentations to our teen drivers and our younger drivers. Don't cut in front of trucks because they can't brake. They don't have the same maneuvering capability as a regular vehicle.
That's right.
And it's those little things. But guys, you know what we're starting to see right now is a huge violation in the Houston area.
Tell me.
Are you ready for this?
Ready.
The tinted front windshields.
Tinted.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah.
It's getting really ridiculous. It's not. I mean, okay, you got a guy that puts a tint job on his vehicle. Okay, he's over the limit, which is 25% or below. You get that from time to time, no problem. You got a guy riding around with 0% tint. That's a problem with us. It's a concern because it's a driving safety issue. But now they're tinting their front windshields. To all of our listeners that listen to Car Talk, we don't tint front windshields. It's a violation of the law. It looks cool. It really, and quite frankly, can keep the vehicle cool as well. They even have a ceramic tint to where it's dark on the outside, and you can relatively see pretty clearly from the driver's seat, but it's still a violation. Nothing can be below that AS1 line inside of the vehicle. And you guys know what that is when you sit inside of your vehicle. That little AS1 line, it's about a quarter of an inch in the height.
Yeah, it's like an eyebrow.
A quarter of an inch in width. It's the eyebrow. Nothing can be below that, and that falls into place with that. So be mindful of your window tint stuff. Now, anything in the back, passenger seats, back window, they can be as dark as you want them. But the front windows, number one, the windshield cannot have any window tint on it. And the two side windows, the tint has to be 25% or above. And it's not a safety piece so we can see in the vehicle when we stop you. I mean, that would be nice. We'll just tell you to roll the windows down. But we want you to be able to see when you're making that lane change or you're turning, etc. If that makes sense.
Well, I have to tell you that when I had the windows tinted in the Corvette, I told them, I said, I want the lightest tint. I don't like the dark tint. I want the lightest tint that you can do. So they did that. Well, you tint the back window and the side windows in the Corvette, and it's a black car to begin with. It looks like it has, whatever that 0% that you're talking about. Tint. It looks a lot darker. It really isn't. It's the lightest tint that's available. But when you start tinting all the windows, it seems like it's darker tint. Yeah.
Right. Again, we know that last week we were out and about. I did a couple of spots on Click It or Ticket. I'm not trying to beat folks over the head with Click It or Ticket. We've done this for years on your show. But they really do save lives, guys.
Oh, yeah.
And that young lady that was in that crash that I talked about a few seconds ago, she was not wearing a safety belt. Over half of the crashes that I've had in my counties, which stem from Galveston, Waller, Wharton, Fort Bend, etc., people are not wearing the safety. They really do say, this is a plea. Please wear your safety belt because you stand a stronger chance of surviving in the crash, whether that's death or serious injuries. And that is the only way you can defend yourself against a drunk driver. My secretary, Don, her son was just killed by a drunk driver this weekend.
Oh, my God.
And, the safety features, you have to wear the seatbelt. And it's more than the Click It or Ticket. It's a cute name that TxDOT came with years ago. Just because a trooper stops you doesn't mean you're going to get a ticket. It's just it's a tactic used upon on words to, hey, man, buckle up. Because it's more than the ticket. It could be your life.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steve, you know that I see what you see. And if everybody else could see what we see in some of these absolutely horrible crashes, that it's really nobody's fault per se. Nobody meant to do it, but it just happened. If they had had their seatbelt, they would have survived. And unfortunately, so many of them don't survive.
Yeah.
It's terrible to see.
It is, and it's heartbreaking, especially when we have to go and knock on the door and do the whole notification thing. So my big plea is that everybody enjoys their holiday, enjoy the summer. Ironically, during this time, we do go into the schools and we hold a lot of training with the ISD police departments, and of course, we're going to be doing that. So we're still out. If you need us, give us a call. If you need DPS directly, turn your driver's license ID over to the back, and there's a 1-800 number back there. We've talked about that. 1-800-525-5555 for any type of assistance. And this could be used, number one, for your kiddo that's traveling to Florida for the summer break or whatever. If they're not in Texas, we can transfer them to that local state agency. Before you get on the road, though, make sure you check your vehicle.
Take your badge. Take that. Okay, we got that. Take your badge off for a minute and tell me what you're going to do for vacation this summer.
Yeah,
man, I got a lot lined out. So, we're gonna. I'm taking the family. We're gonna do our summer cruise, and kind of my son's doing all these college visits, so that's kind of putting a monkey wrench in things. But I'm gonna tell you,
we talked about
we're
that
going
earlier,
to Oregon. Yeah, we're going to Michigan. We're going to Florida. While they're doing that, I'm going to be at the bar. and just tell me how it goes. You know what I mean, Doug?
Yeah, I do, and I know you're going to Uber home or to your hotel or wherever it is
Shirley
that you
Temples.
are. Yeah, Shirley Temples for you.
Yep, you bet.
Yeah, that's right, Shirley. That's right.
So, Steve Woodard,
hey guys,
go ahead.
I love y'all, man, and I appreciate the support. I really do.
Well,
and through the years, it's just been great.
Well, we love you too, man. And yes, and I do see you down there sometimes. I try to honk the horn, but I don't think that you can hear me from 1,000 feet.
Helicopters don't have horns.
Yeah, but it's funny. The gentleman that's taken over for Conrad, you said, man, it look like you lost some weight. You've never said that to me.
But you know that I love you still.
I know you do.
All right.
You do.
Steve, take care of yourself, man. Thanks so much for taking the time with us today, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mars. Bye-bye.
Right, bye. Mr. Mars ain't here, but he can't see. So what does he know?
That's fine. We know what he meant.
Yeah,
great guy.
Yeah, he is. He's a dear friend. I remember we landed out there at the DPS headquarters out there on 290, and they have a helicopter. That's where they keep the helicopters out there. I landed one day, and we're walking from the helicopter into the office of the helicopter guys out there, and here comes a guy. I'm going, Steve Woodard. He goes, Don, is that you? What are you doing over here? Checking on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just got paroled.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly right. Just got paroled. Okay, let's do the racing calendar. Shall we do that?
Racing calendar, sure. Yeah. I've got that.
Yeah.
Yay.
Wow.
Yeah, he's going to finally do something.
I get to speak.
Yeah, let me hear it.
So close your mouth and get it going.
Are you? Do you like car racing?
I do. And you don't. You don't like the Indy and the Formula stuff.
No. Love Indy.
It's the Formula One.
It's the Formula One. That's why he gave me this.
Yeah.
Here, you read this.
Fingerprints on that
That's
garbage.
Exactly what it is.
Well, we have the NHRA, which we don't have here anymore in town, unfortunately. On June the 3rd to June 5th, the New England Dragway. And another one on June 17th to the 19th in Bristol Dragway.
Yeah.
Is that a 4-wide Bristol? No, Bristol's not.
No.
Yeah, so that's it for NHRA. NASCAR Cup, which is tomorrow, the 29th in Charlotte. June 5th, we have Gateway in St. Louis.
Yeah, that's drag racing, isn't it?
Yeah, NASCAR.
Oh, NASCAR. Okay,
NASCAR.
All right.
And tomorrow's NASCAR is the 600.
In Charlotte.
Yeah. In Charlotte. I've been to the Charlotte race. Not this one. I went. It's either the fall or the spring. I don't remember what it is, but I've been to the Charlotte track. It's so many of the Texas Motor Speedway. It's patterned after Charlotte. So many tracks are
cookie cutter.
But Charlotte Charlotte racetrack is very nice.
Yeah. Have you been to the museum? I've been to the museum out there.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Nice area too, right? Trees
Beautiful.
and everything. Yeah, it's just really picturesque.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Formula One tomorrow as well.
Jeff has left the room.
Jeff gone. Monaco Grand Prix. That would be the GP, I'm assuming, right? Grand Prix.
Right.
Yeah. And on June 12th, Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan.
Yes, that's the Grand Prix.
And if you'd like, you could just say it with just a little bit of a lisp, very sibilant S. The Azerbaijan.
That's an appetizer at Outback.
That's
Can I have the Azerbaijan?
Along with the blooming onion.
Yeah.
You know how their meat is hand rubbed. It's great.
He said that.
Squirrel.
Go ahead.
IMSA.
That's
fun. June 3rd. Raceway at Belle Island Park.
Belle Isle. Yes.
Belle Isle
that's just off Detroit area. You can actually see the General Motors building from Belle Isle. It's a great race. I think possibly this might be the last year. I'm not sure, but
that's a really tiny island. You can't even park out there. You have to take a boat out there, don't you?
Well, sometimes I haven't been out there in years, so I'm sure been redesigned and remodeled. But that's always fun, and it brings a lot to the city. So it's very cool.
Cool,
nice. Awesome. And Jeff's favorite Indy car.
I like Indy.
Indy. Okay. Well, tomorrow's Indy 500.
Yeah.
That's right. Tomorrow is the Indy 500.
Yeah.
So they usually used to be held on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
But they've moved it to Sunday. Yeah. Oh, that's right. So tomorrow.
Grab your remote, turn on the TV.
Maybe because of the rainouts, because they had years where it rained on Indy, and then moving it to the next day always created travel problems and things like that.
There you go. Well, probably more attendees on the old TV.
All right, time now for a quick break. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Stay with us.
Father's Day weekend, Saturday, June 18th, 2022. It's the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition will be at the same Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, June 18th. It's the only place cruisers compete for trophies and other prizes. Enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Kick off summer with Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition, Saturday, June 18th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate Father's Day, the start of summer, and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, June 18th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Real Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Real Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InRealTimeCarTalk.